year in the ground, and you have to find it. You have to dig for it. You know what I'm saying? So that's a natural value, because it's not
he
like,
forgot his bag and they're gonna steal it.
it's not like you could process it through
Sam!
a machine.
Sam!
It's not like you could take the gold and process it through a machine and clone it and make more gold and control its value that way. Because the law of abundancy is that the more abundant something is, the less valuable it is. The less abundant it is, the more valuable it is. You know what I'm saying? That's why diamonds, gold, silver are valuable, because they're rare. Well, see, if money was rare, a dollar bill would be a lot more valuable than it is, but because there's so much money in circulation now, there's money in abundance. The way the 1% sees it, the way the rich people that control the money and control the production of all the money that goes into circulation, the federal bankers and all them, they see it as money is in abundance because they printed so much of it. There's trillions and trillions and trillions. There's like a countless amount of money in existence. But here's the kicker. Only 3% of it, 3% of it exists in paper form. Dollar bills and checks and things like that. The other 97% does not exist in Fort Knox like they say it does. All that gold that they say is there, but they won't show the public. That gold isn't there. I'll tell you where the other 97% exists. Cyberspace. It exists solely in the computer systems.
You mean just the number?
Yeah.
Like a figure?
Just the number. Only 3%
nominal,
of the nation's
nominal.
entire currency exists in paper. And dollar bills. In your pocket and my pocket. That's right. Okay? The masses, the 99%, all the minorities, all the working class, the middle class, the lower class, we control a grand whopping total of 3% of the entire wealth of the United States of America. The other 97% of the entire country's wealth is in the hands of the so-called, quote-unquote, 1%, Illuminati, whatever you want to call them, the fucking, those families that I mentioned earlier, and their subsidiaries and associates.
Do you think that Bilderberg,
national bankers, whatever you want to call them, okay, the money manipulators?
Do you think those four families are in the meeting?
The government isn't even the ones that run the country or the world. The government is the legitimate front business to hide these men. The government is like the curtain over the men. You know what I'm saying? They
like illusion.
That's
illusion.
The government is the illusion, exactly. From the very start, ever since they said we'll gain our independence in 1776, it's bullshit. Because their money system,
like democracy, like we have democratic government, illusion.
Yeah, the monetary system designed for this country, capitalism is designed to enslave the masses for the profit of the few. But profit for the few is not measured in terms of money. For them, for the men who own the business of producing the money, money is not the same thing to them that it is to the rest of us, because they produce it for a living. You know what I'm saying? That's their job, producing money. Their profit isn't in terms of the money that they produce. Their profit is in terms of power. It's like, that's the whole concept of debt.
Power, so they're so dependent on illusion.
That's the whole concept of debt. The whole entire world is in debt to these men for producing the money that runs, that makes the world go round. Every dollar that is loaned to the government from the Federal Reserve is loaned with interest attached to it. The Federal Reserve is a money factor. Okay, it's a business. It produces money. Okay, it's like I said, Federal Reserve Bank is a business. Its product is money, and it loans all of the money that it produces. It loans it to the government. When the government needs to fund programs, any programs, education,
military,
they spend like about half of their money on defense.
Especially wars.
And they spend a very small percentage on research for like heart disease and shit like that. Even though the statistics show like less than 10 Americans die from terrorism each year. Less than 10 Americans die terrorist-related deaths each year.
But we have
You know
huge
how many
wars.
Americans die from heart disease every year? Over 450,000 Americans die from heart disease every single year in the United States. The government doesn't even fund like a measurable fraction on heart disease research or cancer research as they spend on defense. Because
But remember,
I was thinking about, I was embracing the idea of joining the Marine Corps, and my best friend was in the Army and he's supposed to go with me, and I was asking him what's base life like, because we're going to try to get stationed to Sicily, right? And he's like, on base, you know, he's explaining what life is like on base to me. You get up, you know, you go to PT, hoorah, you know, 6 to 7, and then 7 to 9 the dining hall is open for breakfast before you go to work. You start work at 9, but from 7 to 9 you can do whatever. You go back to your barracks, shower, clean up, go get breakfast, hang out with your boys for a while, and fucking, I was like, what's the dining hall? It's like, you don't, he's like, that food you don't pay for. That's paid for by the government. That's all free food, and good food too. It's like fucking really top of the line, top quality shit, because they want to keep their soldiers and their Marines healthy and in shape. So that's good food, and you don't pay for it out of the money you make. You know what I'm saying? That's paid for by the government. Just like the guns you use, and the uniforms you're dressed in, and the cots you sleep in the barracks, and the barracks that you sleep in. It's all paid for by the government. Because they spend half of their fucking money on defense. That is the number one thing, is defense. Because, alright, look, I don't know how many like computer geeks are watching live stream right now, but if you've ever played certain online games like me, like Ebony Free Forever or whatever, where you build like a civilization from the ground up, in every video game like that, where you like, you know, Sim City or Sim Civilization or whatever the fuck, alright, the number one thing, the key thing when you, in any of those video games you play, is building up your armies and your walls around your city and your defense, because there's always a threat of outside enemies. You know what I'm saying? You never know when an enemy's gonna attack you, plunder your village, take your resources away, take your food, your gold, your stone, your lumber, all that shit, and then you're left, you know, with a shortage, and then your people are starving, and so you can't let that happen. So the key thing is to keep your defense as strong as possible. So at the end of the day, you find yourself spending most of your fucking money and resources on more and more defense, recruiting more soldiers and all that shit, because that shit requires a lot of resources to do. You know what I mean? Then you go to war and then you lose soldiers, you lose knights, you lose horses, you have to replace them with more knights, more horses, they require food. You know what I'm saying? That food costs a lot of money and a lot of man labor to produce. So defense eats up a lot of a country's resources. And that's why it's so easy for empires to erupt in this world, because you have all these nations that don't really have a lot of money to begin with, let alone money to build up a workable defense for their country.
some people sitting on the floor, on the ground.
Is policing all these other countries because the other countries don't really have strong armies by a long shot. Like, alright, put it this way. Like the average African third world country's army versus the US Army is like Billy Crystal versus Scarface. You know what I'm saying? It's just no match. Because these countries don't have the money or the resources to invest in a strong defense. But our country does that. But as a result, our country goes overboard to be the best of the best, to be an empire that nobody will fuck with. You know what I'm saying? For the sake of generating safety for the people, they've taken it like to the next level. They're spending so much money on defense that they're limiting all their funding for other vital programs, education and even police. You know what I'm saying?
But look at the
now,
fact.
recently in the last year, they're starting to fund police more because of this shit going all over the place.
But look at
the past 10 years, they've
look at the fact that the one person has to depend on that illusion. illusion. Remember the money. Remember, it's all illusion. It's not real, right?
It's not real.
97% you said it's illusion. It's not there.
You want to walk with me up to the stand real
Yeah.
quick? I gotta get something to drink.
Oh, you? Yeah, this guy is
ready.
waiting. This guy is waiting for a little interview. So you go and come back.
I'm not done. I'm not done with the whole conversation yet.
We can continue. Don't worry. I'm here. Yeah, get your drink. Come back.